The statement by Kithure Kindiki that we must support William Ruto as a community so that he can complete his 2 term and join Uhuru Kenyatta in retirement is the kind of political message that makes Kenyan voters pause and ask, wait a minute, is this strategy? Is it surrender? Or is this a syllabus? I want us to unpack this political moment with practical wisdom and some bit of humor. You see, in Kenyan politics, saying let him finish his term and retire like Uhuru Kenyatta is like telling passengers in a matatu, let the driver continue, even if he has missed the road. After all, the journey must end somewhere. Technically, it is correct, reassuringly incorrect, and politically, it is suspicious. Meru elders were right when they said that when the drama changes rhythm suddenly, dancers must ask why. If leadership is framed not as transformation, but as completion of a shift, voters naturally ask, is this governance or a retirement notice disguised as a campaign poster? The phrase by Kithure Kindiki, support as a community, is where the political thermometer rises. Kenya history has taught us something important. In the 1960s, independence politics followed regional loyalties. In the 1990s, multi-party politics followed ethnic arithmetic. In 2002, national unity briefly defeated tribal equations. In 2013 onward, coalition mathematics returned like a stubborn landlord. So when the leader says, as a community, wananchi here, please assemble according to surname and according to mother tongue. Because elders were right when they said that when the goat is told the meeting is for all animals, but only goats are called first, the hyena understands the agenda. Kenyans know what community mobilization usually mean politically. Kithure Kindiki referencing Uhuru Kenyatta's retirement is extremely fascinating because historically, Moi retired after 24 years, Kibaki retired after 10 years, Uhuru retired after 10 years. So suggesting someone should finish and retire sounds less like inspiration and more like let's complete the constitutional minimum requirement and call it a day. It is like praising a student, not for passing exams, but for attending classes until the end. Kenyan voters normally prefer transform the country, not escort the calendar safely to 2032. Be that as it may, sometimes political language accidentally reveals what campaign strategists try to hide. I want you to compare these two statements. The first version is support him so he can finish his development agenda. The second version is support him so he can finish his term and retire. You see, the second version sounds like we are managing expectations early. Kikuyu elders were right when they said that the hunter who praises his spear too early fears the forest ahead. You see, Kenyan political memory is longer than politicians think. Kenyans have seen this movie before, and we have numerous examples. The first example is the project era. Many leaders once campaigned as projects, only for voters to respond, we elect presidents, not group assignments. The second example is the 10-year must-end philosophy. Sometimes political messaging shifts from We will transform Kenya to let us complete our time peacefully, which voters interpret as the mission is survival, the mission is not delivery. I want you to imagine for a moment a boda rider. You board a boda, and then halfway through the trip, the rider says, "Don't worry, I am not promising speed. I'm just promising that eventually I will stop riding." You immediately ask, lakini tutafika kweli? That is exactly how voters here. Let him finish and retire. So what is the real political signal hidden inside the statement by Kindiki? Kindiki's message quietly suggests three possible political interpretations. The first interpretation is loyalty consolidation strategy. Let us stay united as a voting bloc. This is a classic Kenyan coalition mathematics. The second political interpretation is expectation management. Let us focus on stability rather than miracles, which is politically cautious. The third political interpretation is succession positioning. You see, sometimes such statements prepare the ground for after this president, we are going to continue. Kenyan politics always thinks 2 elections ahead, not 1 election ahead. Luo elders were right when they said that the child who is carried on the back watches farther than the one walking. The bottom line is, the statement by Kindiki sounds less like a rallying war and more like a political retirement saving plan disguised as campaign messaging. Kenyans usually support leaders because of vision. They support leaders because of delivery. They support leaders because of economic hope. And they support leaders because of national unity. Kenyans don't support leaders because of let him finish, then go home politely like Uhuru Kenyatta. As another African proverb wisely reminds us, that people follow the river that brings water, not the one that promises to dry up on schedule. My name is Piketty. If it is your first time here, make sure to follow this channel and to subscribe for more political analysis.